all of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is, TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
No. Fuck, like he called, we should kick it on telephone after the made shit.
Right.
And be like, matter of fact, they sent me the girl pictures of this girl, like, not the shit that y'all saw.
Controversy didn't start with Netflix. It started months earlier, when Katt Williams warned that 2024 would be the year the truth finally surfaced. Long before public opinion shifted, he was already calling out powerful figures often, at the cost of his own industry standing. Now, as familiar names appear noticeably absent from a major documentary, his words feel less like comedy and more like prophecy. The question isn't whether Katt was right, it's how much truth was never meant to reach us.
In Hollywood, you never expected. They be having these big-ass mansion parties, and the mansion party, the whole mansion is a party, and then it's a separate party in the little rooms. I ain't been famous that goddamn long. I'm excited to be at the mansion party. You be looking in all the goddamn rooms, and you fuck around and look in the wrong room and shit.
50 Cent attached his name to the Diddy documentary. Audiences expected complete transparency. His reputation has never been built on caution or compromise. Yet reports suggest that multiple high-profile figures were removed before the final release. That contradiction exposes a deeper tension, the thin line between speaking freely and surviving within powerful systems. Was this strategic restraint, or proof that even the boldest voices face invisible boundaries?
Did you ever have the opportunity where you got invited and you said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was the consequences when you said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He was like, I think he's trying to you. That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh, okay. Now I get it. So now no more communication. Now you know to be hands-off with somebody. A number of producers come in and make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, or threaten to knock their head off for talking to you or looking at you like you're a woman. When you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're going to get a real reaction back. It's a difference when a guy walks in a room and when a man walks into a room. And a man don't take the same things that a guy will accept. So always be the man in the room. And that's always been my whole thing, and have lost businesses because I don't bend over in that way. I don't compromise. I don't play gay roles. I don't kiss a man. I don't do that shit because the man card means everything.
I had no idea we're going to go this direction with the podcast. This is absolute. But listen, we've talked about it. We've had a lot of the guys on to talk about this stuff. Are you done with Hollywood because of this specific reason?
I'm still working. I still. I haven't made the money necessary to do all of the other stuff. So I still have to go and do the chitlin circuit. I still have to do the job that I need to. But eventually, I've done what I set out to do, which was to redefine the universe. I've proven what I've set out to do, and that's why I have all the patents. Whether they evaluate it or not, that's up to them. But I've done the work and finished it. Now I can go on and do whatever else we need to do.
Netflix promoted the documentary as raw, fearless, and unprecedented, a platform promising unfiltered storytelling on a global scale. But selective absences raise uncomfortable questions when a corporation controls the narrative. What it leaves out can matter more than what it includes. Are viewers witnessing history or a version of it carefully shaped behind closed doors?
Isn't it weird that the government was so interested in Diddy's baby oil that they took 1,000 bottles away from his house? If the government took 1,000 bottles of baby oil and somebody had things what appeared to be baby oil, and then you have to listen to the prosecutor. He said that they seized 1,000 bottles what allegedly to be baby oil. Allegedly to be baby oil. So that's telling people that it wasn't baby oil. And people think that that was baby oil, they out their mind. I don't believe it was baby oil. Yo, bro, when they went up in there, they knew what they was gonna find. They knew what was ever in that baby oil or that those bottles that appeared to be baby oil, they knew about that at first. You gotta realize 9 times out of 10, that individual that got caught at the airport, that was supposed to be their carrier, told them what they was doing and what they had. I wouldn't put him past that he told them everything. So when they went up in there, they knew they had to take whatever was out there, and that thing that appeared to be baby oil, they took that. They got to test every last one of them. Let's see how much, let's see how many of those come back to be baby oil. Bro, listen to me. Costco don't sell that much baby oil. Where you know sell that much baby oil?
Yeah, I don't know any store that sell that much baby oil. I know Costco, they came out and said that they don't even sell baby oil.
Hollywood has always operated on selective accountability. Power, wealth, and long-standing alliances often determine who faces scrutiny and who remains untouched. The silence around certain figures reinforces a familiar belief: fame doesn't just elevate, it shields, and that reality forces a deeper question: who actually answers to the public?
Hater. We need comms. We need a way into this conversation. We're losing, he said. We're losing. Losing what? What are you losing? But the key words that he said that were so important were, we need to be able to be speaking to the potential jurors. He said, you might only be the guy that watches CNN, but there's 9 billion people in the world, and 7 billion of them are on Instagram or TikTok. We need to have control of that. He said we need to know how these potential jurors are thinking. That's what he said.
Right.
So what does that mean? He hadn't even been arrested yet. He hadn't even been taken into custody yet. Damian Williams hadn't come forward yet with a list of the charges that they were charging him with and what they were taking him to trial for. That didn't happen until December. So once again, they were losing. Losing what? Losing at what? We need to have control of comms. We need to make sure that we know how the potential jurors are thinking.
Very true.
How does that not sound like anything other than what it is? They were looking to infect the jury pool as early as possible.
Behind every documentary lies a legal battlefield: defamation laws, non-disclosure agreements, and the threat of litigation shape what can safely be shown. Even credible stories can be sidelined if the risk outweighs the protection. In this case, silence may not signal uncertainty, it may signal danger when truth becomes a liability. What responsibility does media still carry?
Say that again. But can you 27 years? 4 years. Meanwhile, they tried to give me 4 years for 2 blunts I had no intention of smoking in the first place. Same 4 years. I don't give a fuck. Being an ass-kicking devil worshiper is not against the law. They put that man on a whole RICO because they thought he was for China. They said, bring out the 9 crops. 9 just walked out. That ain't even get the law. Go on and get you something. That man liked this so much as his punishment. They sent him to the place with the most.
But Diddy didn't tell Mark. Does Mark feel betrayed by Diddy?
I've not talked to Mark about it.
What do you think?
Would feel.
What do you think?
I will tell you I'll just tell you, if it was me, I would be more than a little upset. I was more than a little upset when the client didn't know and I was being recorded. I mean, there was a while there where I was meeting clients under bridges, freeway bridges, because I was PTSD over it. So I think as a lawyer, it is one of the most inviolate oaths that you take to protect the client confidentiality and the client privilege. So I don't know, I haven't talked to Mark, but if I were Mark, I would be out of my head.
Out of my head. It's incredible. Diddy did two things here. Number one, he betrayed Mark Agnifilo, who, to your point, did so much for him. Obviously, without Mark Agnifilo, he may very well be spending the rest of his life in prison. The second thing that he did is, by having a third party that's privy to the conversation, the videographer in this case standing there, there's no privilege, right? Diddy waived that entire privilege. Now, it didn't end up backfiring because it seems nobody knew about it until the end of trial. And what are you going to do at this point? But it's such a callous act by Diddy to just sell out his lawyer like that. It's so selfish.
Now, we should say that, remember, Diddy and his team were very upset when they found out that this footage was part of the documentary, and they tried to shut it down, but the
act of taping it is what is so awful.
The act of taping it, right?
Without Agnifilo's
Diddy would say that I didn't authorize that video going out, and the argument they've made is that he's the one who has the right, that he owns that footage. But
that's a copyright issue. That has nothing to do with the morality of the whole thing.
Yeah, the morality is clear. What's unclear is what kind of a deal did he have with the videographer? Because I'll tell you what the sense is that I have based on my conversations. I think it was a loosey-goosey thing.
Yeah.
And I don't even know they had a written agreement. And if they didn't have a written agreement, the videographer is the one who owns it.
Copyrights cannot be transferred through an oral contract. You have to put copyright transfers in writing or they don't count.
And
there you go.
I think that happened here.
Yep.
Stephanie calling in from Brooklyn, New York. Diddy needs to take some accountability. He's more mad at the lawyer than his own actions. That fame all has gone to his head, and 50 did a great job on the documentary. It was a scary watch, sad, and...
Silence in the industry is rarely accidental. Careers, reputations, and personal safety often depend on knowing when not to speak. Those who stay quiet aren't always innocent. Sometimes they're cautious, and often, what isn't said reveals more than any accusation ever could.
What was coming forward that had never come forward before. Kirk Burroughs finally admitting out loud that he had been essayed by Diddy. Mm-hmm. That's a first for most people to hear out loud. Do people know that it happened? Absolutely. See, and this is the biggest problem. Like I've been telling y'all, it's funny how people like to sit there and pretend like everybody ain't heard about all of these things in the backdrop. Like everybody ain't heard about all of these things throughout the years. That's the one thing that I love that Kirk Burroughs was saying at the end of episode 4 when he first, dropped the bomb, that he had been essayed by Diddy. It's Kirk Burroughs.
Yeah.
Who has been here since the beginning.
Yeah, he's the founder.
He said people keep pretending like all of the stuff that they hear about Diddy is something that's new. He's been doing these things. He's a witness to offenses that happened over 30 years ago.
Yeah, facts. Jag, you came in and you gave us a history about Uptown Records. Again, I know we have a lot of younger viewers, and some people start doing their research after you spoke on it, and for them to delve into the history of Uptown Records and Sean Combs' introduction to it, and going from there, he seemed like a kid, going to forget the name of the school, but going to like a private school. Yeah. And jumping as an intern in 19 into this, I'm gonna say back then this was hip hop with
Yeah.
what Uptown Records represented at the time. He didn't smoke, he didn't drink. And then it seemed like after just a couple of years, there was one part he said,
Not every omission exists to protect the powerful. Some exist to protect the wounded. Certain stories may have been excluded to avoid reopening trauma for people who were harmed. Not responsible, exposing pain without consent risks turning justice into spectacle. So where does accountability end and compassion begin?
I'm looking at it like this. So then he called me back again, and I told him, like, listen, man, don't you ever call my phone again, Kurt? You know what I'm saying? Because we had got into it about somebody calling him. He told me Groovy Lou called him and wanted to know why Gene's still doing this to Puff and everything like that. And I mentioned it on the Gene Deal show. You understand? I said something. Then he called me back like I was lying. And listen to me, Kurt. Don't call me about what these clowns and these niggas say right here, bro. And especially don't call me talking about what I gotta fix, when in fact you know what you told me and you know what our conversation was. You know what I'm saying? So the whole thing about why I'm not in the thing, the lady was talking greasy to me. She had no right to talk greasy to me. And then she told me that 50 didn't have the power to do anything, but they using his name to like push the whole documentary. And that's what it was about. So that's why you don't see a cameo other than the pictures they used of me on the film in the documentary. I got like 3 or 4 pictures in the documentary that I've seen of myself. You know, some people say they saw more, but I know three different times where I was certain places that you could actually see me in the documentary, and that's the only thing you're gonna get. But the stories that they told in the documentary, bruh, come on. They could have went a whole lot deeper. They could have did a whole lot more. So I ain't in the documentary because that lady that was the director, I think, what's her name? Alex, Alex Stapleton. You know her name, Mighty? Yo, Mighty, just give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna look this up, all right? Okay. Her name is Alex Stapleton. The director that I spoke to was Alex Stapleton. She was the one who told me that she was the director, she was the producer, whatever, this, that, and the third, the whole 9 yards. And she was talking mad greasy to me. And listen here, it's no matter, after you talk that kind of talk to me, it's no amount of money she could have paid me anyway for me to get in there. You know, my story is more too valuable, getting into depth or getting in depth with this whole stuff. And it would have helped that
Audiences demand total exposure, but responsible journalism must balance truth with harm. Still, selective storytelling risks eroding trust when viewers sense control instead of clarity. Transparency about limitations may be just as important as the story itself. Can media remain credible without being complete?
That shit would have never happened. I was there, I saw it. I saw Jessica run down the steps after she grabbed the money box because my man Eddie was protecting her. And Eddie's the one called me on the walkie-talkie and said, yo, Jessica just locked me in outside the gym, Gene. You couldn't go down the steps after they bum rushed the door. You understand? I had to run around the whole gym on the outside, around the gym, down the steps, run across the basketball court, and open the front door. When I opened that one door, because it pushed inside, people start squeezing through that. Then I just kept doing the doors, and people was coming in there, falling dead, right out, just falling out right there. And once they got in there, they just fell out. It was crazy, bro. It was a crazy sight. So I was there, man. So I knew more than they would put down there in that documentary. And you know what I'm saying? You even see me, when Puff is standing up right there, you see me down there trying to do CPR on somebody, and that was a 17-year-old kid that died, bro. That was a 17-year-old kid that died. I knew his brother. His brother was sitting there crying, talking about, my mama gonna kill me. This is the first time I ever took my little brother anywhere.
Terrible, man. Who do you put the blame on for that whole City College thing? Do you put it all on Diddy, or is it more people that played a part?
Well, I think Puff cutting security for the outside is a big part. Second of all, the college should have had their security there and you didn't see none of the college security, and the college should have let the police department know that it was a function of that magnitude that was coming. So it's Diddy and the college and the security and the school.
To get into this documentary, man, because I want to get your point of view, man, and I want you to break it down. It's one part in here where Eric Sermon, he told a story about how he was in the car with Misa, and Diddy caught him in the car, and Diddy swung on him. You seen that part?
Well, Eric Sermon said that Puff swung on him and invited him, and he invited Puff to go around the corner. But a lot of people, Kirk Burrows told the story, and I told him because we knew that had happened back in.
These omissions come into focus. Katt Williams' warnings take on new weight. He wasn't just calling out individuals, he was exposing systems designed to protect themselves. What once sounded extreme now feels precise. Maybe the real failure wasn't disbelief, but waiting too long to listen.
And as you know, him and Diddy, they've been cool ever since. Him, Diddy, the Jigga Man. That was another thing I thought that was interesting, that Jay-Z wasn't mentioned at all in any of this documentary. Yet he was there for so much of it. Because right after the Diddler beat the crap out of Steve Stout, the Jigga Man poked up on Rivera. Not long after that. All of this stuff happened around the same time.
Why do you think Jay-Z wasn't involved in none of this?
Well, I mean, he was involved in a lot of it. You mean, why wasn't he mentioned?
Yeah, mentioned in the documentary at all.
I mean, there was a lot of people that weren't mentioned. Matter of fact, not too many people in the industry were mentioned who were there and present. Isn't that cute?
Very true.
They found a way to tell that story while they kept everybody else clean.
Jag, how come you don't think...
Episode 2 focused heavily on Tupac Shakur and the East Coast, West Coast beef. They were saying that Diddy was technically jealous of Tupac and Biggie's friendship, of Tupac's success.
Technically.
Yeah, technically.
I mean, they said it right. Diddy wanted to get down with Tupac. Tupac didn't want to have nothing to do with it. Nothing. He wanted nothing to do with Diddy. He was interested in helping Biggie. He was interested in promoting Biggie. He was interested in where that whole thing could go. He saw the promise. And I think he knew that Biggie was being taken advantage of. I think he knew that.
The documentary may be finished, but the reckoning isn't. Investigations continue. Lawsuits grow, public scrutiny intensifies. Truth rarely arrives all at once. It surfaces in fragments over time. And the final question remains, when everything is finally revealed, will accountability still be possible?